The Bodhi tree offered its cool shade, a sanctuary from the harshness of the world. Its broad leaves whispered secrets of ancient wisdom, and its roots dug deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly in place. Beneath it sat the Buddha, serene and compassionate, embodying the essence of tranquility. His presence was a beacon of hope for those who sought enlightenment. His eyes were closed, yet he saw the world with clarity. In his stillness, he perceived the interconnectedness of all life, the ebb and flow of existence. People came from far and wide to listen to his teachings. They traveled great distances, driven by a yearning for understanding and a desire to alleviate their suffering. They sought solace in his words, hoping to find peace amidst life's inevitable suffering. Each person carried their own burdens, their own stories of pain and loss. The Buddha's wisdom was not found in complex rituals or scriptures. It was accessible to all, regardless of their status or background. It was rooted in simple truths, observable in the everyday world. The rustling of leaves, the flow of water, the blooming of flowers, all were manifestations of the same universal principles. He taught about the nature of suffering, the impermanence of all things, and the path to liberation. His teachings were a guide, a map to navigate the complexities of life. On this particular day, a young man approached, his face etched with worry. He had heard of the Buddha's wisdom and hoped to find answers to the questions that plagued his mind. The young man bowed respectfully and sat at the Buddha's feet, ready to listen and learn. As the Buddha began to speak, the young man felt a sense of calm wash over him. The words were simple yet profound, resonating deeply within his soul. He realized that the answers he sought were not outside of him, but within. With newfound clarity, the young man left the Bodhi tree, his heart lighter and his mind at peace. The teachings of the Buddha had illuminated his path, guiding him towards a life of understanding and compassion. The young man bowed deeply before the Buddha, his heart heavy with the weight of his troubles. His name was Siddhartha, and he carried a heavy heart, burdened by the harshness of the world around him. "Master," he began, his voice laced with distress, "I am tormented by the unkind words of others. They pierce my soul and leave me feeling lost and alone. Their insults and criticisms wound me deeply, leaving scars that are not visible but are felt profoundly within. How can I find peace when surrounded by such negativity? How can I rise above the hurtful words and find solace in my heart?" The Buddha listened patiently, his gaze full of understanding and compassion. He knew the pain of harsh words, the sting of anger and resentment they could inflict. He knew the pain of harsh words, the sting of anger and resentment they could inflict. He had seen many souls tormented by the cruelty of others. Instead of offering empty platitudes, he decided to teach through a simple yet profound demonstration. He picked up a small stone and held it in his hand, showing it to Siddhartha. "This stone," he said, "represents the harsh words and criticisms you receive. It is heavy and burdensome, but it is not a part of you." The Buddha then dropped the stone into a calm pond, and they both watched as it sank to the bottom, disappearing from sight. "See how the water returns to its calm state," he said. "The stone is gone and the water is at peace once more." Siddhartha watched the ripples fade and understood the lesson. The harsh words of others are like the stone. They may cause a disturbance, but they do not define you. Let them sink and you will find peace within yourself, the Buddha concluded with a serene smile. Siddhartha bowed once more, feeling a sense of relief and understanding. He knew the path to inner peace was within his grasp. The Buddha motioned for Siddhartha to sit before him. He then picked up a nearby bowl filled with clear water. Holding it up, he asked, "Siddhartha, tell me what you see." Siddhartha looked at the bowl. "I see my reflection clearly, Master," he replied, puzzled by the seemingly unrelated question. "The water is still and pure." He wondered where the Buddha was leading him with this line of questioning. The Buddha nodded slowly. "Now watch closely." With that, he dipped his finger into the water and began to stir it vigorously. The water, once still and clear, became cloudy and turbulent. "What do you see now, Siddhartha?" the Buddha asked, his voice soft yet firm. Siddhartha observed the swirling water, his brow furrowed in thought. "The water is no longer clear, Master. I cannot see my reflection. It is agitated, disturbed." He drew a deep breath, sensing a connection to his own inner turmoil. The Buddha stopped stirring the water. He gently placed the bowl back on the ground, allowing it to settle. Slowly, the water began to calm. The swirling subsided, and the cloudiness dissipated. Once again, the water became still and clear, reflecting Siddhartha's image perfectly. "Do you see, Siddhartha?" the Buddha asked, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "The mind is like this water." He paused, letting the analogy sink in. When we are bombarded with unkind words, with anger and negativity, our minds become agitated like the stirred water. We lose our clarity, our peace. The Buddha's words resonated deeply with Siddhartha. He had experienced this turmoil firsthand. "But," the Buddha continued, "when we choose not to react, when we allow those emotions to settle, our minds become calm and clear, like the water in the bowl." He looked at Siddhartha intently. "Peace, dear one, does not come from controlling the world around us. It comes from mastering the world within." Siddhartha sat in silence, absorbing the Buddha's words. He realized the profound truth in the simple demonstration. It was not the unkind words themselves that caused him pain, but his own reaction to them. He had been allowing external forces to dictate his inner state. "Master," Siddhartha said, his voice filled with newfound understanding, "you have opened my eyes. I see that true peace lies in mastering my own mind, not in trying to control the actions of others." A sense of gratitude washed over him. The Buddha smiled gently. "Indeed, Siddhartha, just as the water becomes clear when we stop stirring it, our minds find peace when we choose not to be swept away by our emotions." He placed a hand on Siddhartha's shoulder. "Practice patience, young one. Practice letting go of the need to react to every provocation. In this stillness, you will discover the boundless peace that resides within you." Siddhartha left the Bodhi tree that day a changed man. He had spent countless hours in deep meditation, seeking answers to the profound questions of life. Under the shade of the Bodhi tree, he found enlightenment, a state of perfect wisdom and compassion. This transformation was not just a momentary experience, but a profound shift in his understanding of existence. He carried the Buddha's lesson in his heart. The lesson was simple yet profound. True peace and happiness come from within, not from external possessions or achievements. Siddhartha realized that the key to lasting contentment lay in mastering one's mind and emotions. He understood that inner peace was not a passive state, but an active choice, a daily practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. It required constant effort to remain centered and calm amidst the inevitable ups and downs of life, a conscious decision to not be ruled by external circumstances. Whether in the tranquility of nature or the chaos of a bustling city, Siddhartha knew that his inner state was his own responsibility. He learned to observe his thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. And so, he walked back into the world, not as a recluse but as a teacher, sharing his insights with those who sought the same peace. He understood that the world was full of distractions and challenges, but he was determined to face them with a calm and steady mind. Ready to face its challenges with a calm and steady mind, knowing that true peace could only be found from within. He taught that by cultivating inner peace, one could navigate the storms of life with grace and resilience, knowing that true peace could only be found from within. This inner peace was like a mirror, reflecting the true nature of one's soul. It was a state of being that transcended the temporary highs and lows of everyday life. The lesson of the water bowl serves as a timeless reminder for us all. Just as the water remains calm and clear when undisturbed, our minds too can remain serene when we do not let external disturbances affect us. In a world filled with chaos and uncertainty, it is easy to get lost in the noise and confusion. But Siddhartha's teachings remind us that we have the power to find peace within ourselves, no matter the external circumstances. We can find solace in the wisdom of the Buddha. By cultivating inner peace, we can create a sanctuary within ourselves, a place of refuge that we can return to whenever we need to recharge and find clarity. We can navigate the storms of life with grace and resilience. Just as a tree stands firm in the face of strong winds, we too can remain grounded and unshaken by life's challenges when we have inner peace. The choice, as always, is ours. We can choose to be swept away by the chaos, or we can choose to cultivate a calm and steady mind. The path to inner peace is a journey, one that requires patience, practice, and a deep commitment to self-awareness and mindfulness.